So you're one of the cool kids that don't use HAOS for Home Assistant. You do your own Docker container thing with Docker Compose, but you want to play around with the new Matter thing, and you just go add the integration and you run into this. Yeah, we don't have the add-ons because we do our own thing, but luckily Home Assistant did actually just release their own container that we can pull from their official GitHub. No having to build it yourself and everything like I've had to do in the past, and it just works. Now, does it really matter if you don't have any Matter devices? Maybe not. But we're going to show you how to address this matter in case, in the future it does matter and you get some Matter devices to throw into your Matter integration. And if I can figure out some other way to say Matter again, I definitely will. Now, of course, the devs are going to tell you, hey, you should probably be using HAOS. Probably easier for support reasons for their side, but I'm the one supporting my stuff at my house, so I need to be able to use it like I want to and troubleshoot it and fix it and everything. And so I do prefer to use just the regular Docker containers for all of my stuff for Node-RED, MQTT, Home Assistant, you name it. All makes it stupid easy, especially, yeah, I am using Unraid to do that. But you can use Docker Compose, Docker Run, etc. And everything is right in here. So once you get past all the doom and gloom, you can come and they do have the one for the Docker Run. I will post the one for Docker Compose. I'll put that on my own website. Potentially, maybe they'll add it to their README as well. And I did mention Unraid. If you haven't seen that, this is what I'm talking about you can do your own Docker containers. It's all straight in a simple little GUI. But if you do want to go install the Matter server, now, of course, at the recording of this video, it's one of the recent ones. I did add it, but just do a search for Matter server, and you should be able to get the Matter server and hit the button, hit install. You do need to make sure that you are using IPv4 and IPv6. Now, you don't have to be, actively using that inside your network from what I found, but it does need to be enabled on your Linux box or whatever you're installing this with, say like Unraid, etc. You do need to go into your network settings and make sure it's not set to just IPv4 only. Yeah, you can see I made sure and set it to IPv4 and IPv6, and everything works great. It will install with IPv4 only, but you just won't be able to add any devices to Home Assistant. It just fails every single time. And of course, Docker Compose users, you know what you do. You can throw this in your little Compose. You can change the volume that it maps to. I just use /opt, but everybody likes to do their own little thing. Change that to whatever you want because there is data that needs to be saved outside the container. The Docker Run, folks, kind of the same deal. You can just copy and paste that and throw it in however you want to run your stuff. Once you get it started, do make sure that it is set to auto start. For everybody else that's doing whatever compose and run stuff, you don't want your system rebooting and it doesn't start. Unraid users, just click the little checkbox over here and it goes to auto start. It's a pretty lightweight container. There's not a whole lot to it. There's no web GUI to it. You can pull up the logs, of course, and see all the good things. And when you're pairing your Matter device, you'll see a lot of stuff flying by as well. In Home Assistant itself, once you do get the container started, if you go in here and go to add Matter device and it says Matter is not set up, and just hit proceed. Don't worry about the doom and gloom again. If you have it on the same box as, the same Docker stack as your Home Assistant stuff, you can just leave this URL the same. And if you don't, just change the local host part. If you have this on another host system or whatever, different Docker stack, just change that to the IP address so it can get over there. And then once you do hit submit, it's going to come up. You should say this success. Now, I have been playing with this with a light bulb, so it continues to pull in this light bulb. And, well, if you probably won't have any devices, so yeah, just hit finish. And that's pretty much it. Matter's ready to go. And really going to you go through and use, like, say, your phone with a Home Assistant companion app, whether it be iOS or Android, etc., and just add in your one Matter device. Does it? Well, no, there's more than that. There's actually quite a few coming out now, different Matter devices, but they kind of have their own subset of issues because Matter is just so new. Like, for instance, I had an issue with a light bulb that has all the color and everything if you use their app, but then when you add it Matter, it only does warm white. There's some other devices you got to add in their firmware first, but then you got to add it to their app. It kind of kills the whole thing of what Matter is all about, where Matter is supposed to be where we just take something out the box and pair it up without having to use some manufacturer's stupid app and it's all local and everything. Well, it's not really the path where it's going currently because it's just so new. Hopefully that'll get better maybe next year once the lines and everything kind of, the production lines and the documentation and just all the bugs get worked out. But hey, we're like to play with bleeding edge stuff, and there are some devices out there, so this is how, especially the cool kids like us not doing the HAOS thing can install Matter. So I do appreciate the Home Assistant devs for making a separate Docker container for us cool kids. So that's about it for this one. Quick little deal. I appreciate all the Patreon members, YouTube members. We definitely couldn't do it without you. And yep, you know the drill. Press all them buttons and take care.